Right, so I suppose we might as well introduce ourselves. So I'm Peter Butler. I was the director on the Great Spielron.
And I'm Stuart, Carpenter, and I suppose I was jack of all trades, really, wasn't I?
Were you juicer?
Actor,
Actor?
assistant director,
Yeah.
sound
Sound.
man,
Yeah.
cameraman at one point as well, I think.
Exactly, yeah, no. We did a lot. So we thought we'd do this video because it's kind of like you see them on films now with the behind the scenes stuff, and we just thought it'd be quite interesting to do what went on, the problems we had, and what we thought went right, and what we're pleased with, and just generally a kind of overview of how we felt the film came out.
Yeah, well, the actual behind the scenes stuff, you worked very hard at actually taking bits from the film and actually blogging about it on 22 Days Later.
Yeah.
So if you check the blog out, because there's loads of info coming out.
Yeah, that's
from that.
true. Yeah, so check out www.22dayslater as well, where I have a lot of sort of like sort of basic tutorials on some of the special effects and things like that as well. So hopefully that will help. So what we're going to do is just going to play through the film and talk over it, and hopefully not be too annoying. And if you haven't obviously seen the film yet, probably best to watch it without our annoying voices on top. And you can find that again on 22 Days Later or on our Bubblegum Monsters YouTube channel. So anyway, right, let's start. Right, so yeah, we've got our logo here. It comes in. It actually did a few years ago.
That was the easy bit, because we had a pre-made version of that, didn't we? Just slotted it in.
Yeah, that was easy. And that was our other logo. So this was shot. When was this shot? This was shot sort of like this was the first thing we did, because we did this for the trailer. So I think this was back in November, wasn't it? We shot this, and the caretaker guy is actually my neighbour. So we borrowed him because we've sort of didn't have any actors, and that was one of the problems of 22 Days Later. Is we only had 3 weeks to write the script, get the actors, get the locations, film it, edit it, add any effects. The first film we did, which was the Lollipop Lady Killer, was quite easy because it didn't have any effects in it. So we managed to just about do that, but we thought we'd be more adventurous with this one.
You say actors, we did actually have an actor for the policeman, but he didn't turn up.
Oh yeah, actually let me just pause it there so we don't go too ahead of ourselves.
So the helmet I'm wearing, it is actually a proper policeman's helmet. It was that was provided by John, wasn't it? He actually had
John Wald Taylor, who is actually the magician in the film.
But the vest you made, didn't you? You with the policeman's sign on the back, and also we managed to get hold of those walkie-talkies as well.
That's right, we got them from Matt Please.
Yeah.
And then
they worked really well though. I think that they
were good, but it was just the fact that to save money we then just took them back and got our money back on them, because I did think actually it'd be quite cool to have some walkie-talkies, but we just realised we wouldn't probably use them that often. So yeah, everything on the police, that was sourcing all the outfits for this as well took a long time. So we were kind of like, we were trying to push the boundaries of what we could achieve over the first film, because we also wanted to do one better. But I think as we realised on this film that there is a limit, and I think actually the Lollipop Lady Killer probably was the limit of what you could achieve in 3 weeks.
I think that's a shame, because again, I wasn't prepared to be the actor, and
I thought you were really good though.
Yeah, but it wasn't in terms of uniform. It wasn't that authentic, was it? I was wearing the wrong shoes. And,
yeah.
But I just had to work with what I had.
So yeah, so the limbs we got from Millennium Effects, which do a lot of the Doctor Who and the big film. They did Saving Private Ryan, things like that. They were really helpful. I mean, considering, and I didn't pay for it or anything. They did it all just out of their own sort of kind heart.
Okay, I just wanted, just stop there. The walkie-talkie, the chat, that was all done post. There was no sound was there, so we was talking into blank walkie-talkies. But you just missed the clock. Clock.
Right, yeah, that's good
there. That's all been done in post, because obviously we'd forgot to take the battery out of the clock, so the times was changing all the time.
Yeah, that's really.
And this probably took 4 or 5 hours that night as well with filming this one.
Yeah, I think this scene, when I wrote it, I thought it was going to take like about 2 hours, and it actually took the whole night in the end.
Yeah, it was.
I think we had
a long night.
I think we had some other bits planned. I think we just had to cut them out in the end. We couldn't do them in time. So yeah, we ended up doing all of the other bits, trying to find extra days to do them, didn't we?
Yeah. So every time that clock appears, you had to go back and just set one
superimposed on.
time.
Yeah, that's all It's all computer graphics. And this bit was literally, we filmed this blood trickling down here. I was in shot until we said action, then ran out of shot just so the blood would trickle. And the phone idea in the hand was like a last minute thing, wasn't it? Which I kind of regret doing, but anyway. Oh, actually, this is an interesting bit. Let me just pause this as well here. Oh, it's getting funny. Yeah, here on the... Let me see, it does cut back. Oh. Okay, so on this bit, there's the table, and on the table, on the original shoot, which is, in fact, you can still see it in the trailer, or not see it, as the case may be, there is cans and a candle and all
the wine bottle and the other.
Yeah, so in the trailer we didn't have them because we hadn't shot the main film. We shot the trailer first of all. So in the main film, when we actually filmed the actors, we'd set the table up with the cans and wine and stuff. So obviously the trailer didn't match anymore. So the bits on the table weren't there, and obviously we'd already filmed this. So that was another effect I had to put in, where I had to add all the cans and wine bottles onto the table.
Yeah.
So it looked like, you haven't noticed that, did you?
No, but I remember you mentioned it because we were said about it, and then
so I had to put that in. Also, the blood was a mixture of syrup, coffee, and
but also in the film in reverse, we didn't actually have those candles lit. We did on the trailer. We lit those little candles on the side, didn't we? Those candle holders. I don't think they ever got to the stage.
They never got used. Did they? Yeah, so that's. I mean, I dread to think how many goofs there are in this. There's so many because it was so rushed, wasn't it? But...
Well, yeah. I mean, in fact, in this trailer section, I don't think there are that many goofs because it was written quite well, so we knew exactly what we was doing from the storyline. But some of the comments which will follow, we have noticed that the script differed quite a bit. Yeah. So, but
because the blood was a pain, because we. Funny enough, actually, these footprints are actually just poster paint, which you can kind of see it drying up a little bit and they look a bit rubbish. But because we didn't want to use the syrupy blood because we thought it was going to stain the floor. But actually, what we found was the poster paint actually was harder to get off the floor than the syrup. Do you remember? It took us ages to clean off the poster paint.
The problem with the syrup was it was very sticky. I'm just going to pause it there actually because this, So Marcella, who is the actress there. Bless her. The blood was trickling down her face, and we made that blood with it consists of syrup, golden syrup, some food colouring, food dye. It's a bit of
red, well, mainly red, obviously, and
coffee.
The coffee grain.
And the coffee grain, and the poor girl sat there through that entire shot with a coffee granule in the corner of her eye, wasn't it? Yeah. And the moment we shouted "cut," the poor girl, we had to have a quick look. So. Yeah, I think in future we might have to be careful where the blood goes
with the coffee.
With the coffee, yeah.
Or it's just that the thing was when we mixed it up, we mixed it with cold water, didn't we? And it didn't dissolve the coffee grains too much. So there was a few lumpy bits still in there, which she ended up in her eye. Right, so here's the titles. This actually. It just took quite a while because I didn't really know what to use as the sort of background stuff. So I just we had a few props like the hat, which you actually don't really see in this. And then I just went around the house and found a few sort of appropriate sort of like the candles, the little medicine type bottle things, and obviously some cards. And that was it. And we just knocked that up in the garage, didn't we? And just filmed it. It took about
cut that out, yeah.
An hour.
But the titles actually, because we wanted this sort of magician-y type feel to it, we actually researched that night, and you did those titles overnight. When I came back the next day, you had them all completed.
Yeah, no, it was actually a bit of a nightmare to get that right, especially the smoky effect.
Right, I'm just going to pause it there because obviously this essentially would have been the opening scene after the titles, but it wasn't until we put the film together. And what we released as the trailer was the end piece of the film, or would have been the end piece.
Oh,
of the
film.
Yeah. But we felt that it was going to be so much of an anticlimax after the build-up to the end of this film, to then have another little start. We were then looking at trying to chop it a little bit, maybe put a bit in the beginning, bit at the end. And in the end, we decided the best way to play it would have, like, the after become before the before.
Yeah, and because I've always thought with films, any film, you need to have a really good hook at the beginning. You really need to have something that really especially nowadays with YouTube, people just haven't got the patience. And then actually, when they see 20 minutes, that's the problem as well. With a film, you can sit down and start watching a film. You don't have a time at the bottom, do you, on TV and stuff? But obviously on YouTube, people have got into the habit of immediately looking at the time bar. And if it's like anything over 3 minutes, it's like, oh, sod that, I'm not watching that. So, yeah, you really need a hook that will get people watching and be like enough that entices them into the rest of the film. So that was kind of an ingenious idea. That was your suggestion, wasn't it, to take the end and put it at the beginning? And I think that really helped because it just meant that obviously you've got all these body parts and you've just got this really strange end to it. Then like kind of, I don't think. Well, I like to think you haven't got a choice but to watch the film once you've sort of got hooked into that first bit.
I think because particularly as well, we're aiming at a particular audience, a YouTube audience who don't want to sit through 20 minutes. You unlike in a real film where you got that time to build the characters and build the suspense, which is what we did with this.
Yeah,
they're not going to get to the end. They would switch off. So yeah, we thought we'd just stick something which would just, as you said, a hook in the beginning. The doors being open and things like that. I mean, again, you'll probably notice.
there's little inconsistencies, but
a bit of continuity issue there.
So this was a jib shot as well, wasn't it? This first shot, like crane shot, and I mean, really, this shot didn't need it at all because originally it was coming down from the window, and it was just the idea of having this nice streaming moonlight coming through, but that never really came across in this. And that's one thing when you're doing indie films and trying to get stuff done as quickly as possible. The biggest mistake, or the thing I've learnt the most, is actually I'll just pause it there as well. The big thing I've learned the most is the fact that using your cranes and your dollies really takes up a lot of time. It just takes so much time, and even just like blocking out where the actors are going to be, so that they don't sort of walk into the crane or into the dolly. It's just a lot of work. I mean, I think that particular shot took about half an hour just to set up that first shot. So already you're eating into the 4 or 5 hours you've got that night, and we were running late on every single thing, and bless the actors and the crew, everyone was just like, yeah, let's just get it done. But it's one of those things that I think if I'm going to do it again, which obviously I'd like to, but I'm going to try and, unless it's absolutely necessary to the story, I think camera moves can really add something, especially with comedy, but you can just take away a lot of those camera moves and you'd still have a good story as long as you're acting and the storyline is good.
That'll double up the hands we had. I mean, because that's really what we're talking about. We work with 3 or 4 guys to set up every shot. I think, and quite often we needed probably 10. With all the kit was moving around all the time, and it's always a challenge.
Yeah, and so the other thing I just picked up on
the grading was nice on this, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I was trying to get that sort of moonlight look, wasn't it? Oh yeah, so this shot here where let me go back. Is it playing? When she walks, this is Lauren. When she walks past here, past that window, we actually had all the lights there, so that was another one of the special effects shots where I had to remove all of the lights. And this is the problem with the VFX, and which is why this film became such a nightmare, because the first, again, that's another one, there were all the lights were there, I had to remove them all. Originally we had like 4 weeks, I think it was, of filming. We did manage to squeeze it. It wasn't 22 days, we got the trailer done in 22 days, but overall it was like I think it was like beginning of December, wasn't it, we finished it. I think it was December the 1st or 4th or so, we actually finished all the main shoot. And then and that's a special effects as well, that torchlight, that wasn't there. That beam of light, I had to add that as well. And then, so what ended up happening, it was the visual effects just took so much time. And it wasn't like I was working on it every day, because I also had other work, trying to find work as well. There was just so much stuff going on that to add all the effects in, I think there's 90 effect shots.
And you can see just down, actually there, we got...
the bottom right corner.
Yeah, the bottom right corner, there was bits of kit left around.
That's the jib, wasn't it? Yeah.
But you see, again, like there's those, the candles remain up the hallway.
Yeah,
we don't bring them down, but they appear on the stage. In the
well, no, but you get the cut in a minute, so you never see outside again anyway, so we can get away with it.
Yeah.
Well, we could.
Yeah, we never actually see the setup actually. So
no, exactly. You could have got away with it, but you just told me.
No, but I think it's quite important as well to have someone on hand who's actually monitoring the continuity and just be that job.
Yeah, well, that's
all you got to do. Yeah. And but this is what I mean. It just keeps adding another crew member, and we just these are volunteers we're calling on.
So this was a day for night shot, wasn't it? We went out, not that long ago really, and shot that, and then I had to grade and just put a stormy kind of thing behind it.
And then obviously this was a reference to the Lollipop Lady Killer. Yeah,
I like the way Sam or Kevin as the character goes. Oh yeah, I did hear about that. It's like, yeah, you were the killer.
Yes, he played Sherlock Holmes.
And then that clown in front there, I don't know if you can see it on the table. That's actually my mum's. I don't know why I think it was my grand's room. It was a really creepy looking clown. I don't know why anyone would want that. But.
This was a real knife, by the way.
Yeah, that was a real kitchen knife we got. A lot of these props were literally grabbed on the night before the shoot. Just went, that would do as a knife. That would do. It was because it's so hurried. By the time we've written the story, got all the props and everything, we literally had like a few days to get everything together for the location. We had a nightmare trying to get the location as well. Do you remember? Loads of halls and stuff.
Yeah.
Because trying to hire a hall, most people charge quite a lot of money, and it was luckily that's the local hall just down the road, and they were like really kind, and we managed to get it done quite quick. Oh, the rabbit! That was a nightmare as well. I don't know this whole film. What was I thinking when I wrote it? It was just I didn't think it through at all. Just to have a live rabbit, set it in 1908, and. So the audience weren't actually there. We've got that on one of the blogs whereby I show you sort of how to use green screen. We just added them all in. It was a little bit hurried. There's a couple of them I'd like to have graded a bit better, so it didn't. Some of them sit quite well, but some of them sit a bit.
Well, don't they say never work with children, animals, and puppets?
Yeah, I think you're right.
And
did all through.
Yeah, you work with animals. We worked with children, and where I'm concerned, you was working with a Muppet. So
actually, some of the shots with that rabbit just then, when it was walking around, we were actually in shot as well. But again, another load of effects. We had to remove us from the shot. It was my mum and me. Mum's down as animal handler because she's a professional animal handler. And that was actually Flora made that rabbit, which was she's brilliant. She knocked that up in a couple of days, I think. She just suddenly had it. She added all the burnt marks to it and everything. So we used that for the dead rabbit. This scene actually had about two. Again, it had a dolly shot, a jib shot. Had everything, didn't it? It was a right nightmare to film. We spent about 2 hours doing it, and I didn't use half.
And the thing is, we had 4 people in that tight corridor.
Yeah, it was a really tight corridor.
And we were hanging off each other and sitting on each other. It was a challenge.
And those pictures, I had to knock all them up in Photoshop. And there's about 3 of them. You can sort of see them in the background there. There's one on the left and some on the mantelpiece there. With John with the rabbit.
And we shot this in John's living room, actually. Again, Flora and John were fantastic all the way through. But it actually was quite in keeping with the character as well.
I mean, that was pure luck as well, because I'd gone to my neighbours, spoken to them, and they said... And then Flora was just happened to be around there, and she went, "Oh, our living room which sounds you'd be quite suited to your film." And of course, when I saw it, I was like, "Yeah, this is perfect." And so was John. So it was kind of like... kill 2 birds with one stone.
And again, very accommodating to 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh yeah. Some of these shots as well were pickup shots because originally we only had time to do some of the wides and medium, a couple of close-ups. But these shots here, these fast pans here, that one wasn't actually, that was an original. But they were pickup shots, a lot of them, because I just knew that the scene wasn't working enough. And there's still a lot more I would have liked to have done with this scene. I still think it works, but it still needed more to it. It was just kind of like...
And the Foley effect, or the sound effects, which was being used in that clip, were a lot of heavy breathing and sucking of teeth and...
Yeah, that was me. Yeah.
I did all the microphone.
The ghost
sound effects, yeah. So, and the growls and the roars and things. Some of them we managed to
yeah, the lions and stuff, weren't they? Alligator hiss.
Yeah.
So yeah, these talking shots were quite... I guess they're quite easy, but they're quite time-consuming because you're constantly having to sort of just record each person doing their bit. That was a camera flash. That was actually on set. We used that. Footprints were superimposed because I don't think John and Flora really wanted bloody footprints all over their floor, so I had to use a bit of software called Mocha, which is like a tracking software to put them in.
What's really sad about this is you don't quite see the rabbit in its full glory here.
Pause it there, actually, in the eyes.
And what Peter had actually created was an amazing model, which you can see on the blog. You can see it.
Yeah,
in
you
real
can.
life.
Yeah, you can see.
But
I wouldn't say it's amazing. It was a bit rushed.
well, you say that, but the thing is I can understand why you did it. You just wanted to show the eyes because the rules on any horror film is you don't show the monster until the end.
Yeah.
So yeah, we didn't want to give it away at that point. But the hours that you spent doing it, and then for just a set of red eyes.
Well, I think that's one of the things as a filmmaker in just general, or as a director, or whatever discipline you are in film or any art, is don't be too precious about your bit of art, because if it needs to be cut for the sake of the film, it should be cut. It's not like, I could have turned around and said, well, no, but I really want that in because I spent like a couple of days.
No, but the other argument could be then maybe thinking about it, then only build what you need.
Yeah, but sometimes, but yeah, obviously that's planning a game. But when you've only got 3 weeks, when you're knocking stuff together, you don't think of that. But yeah, I think it's a bit of both. But there are times, obviously, when in the edit, something that you felt, no matter how much previs or storyboarding you've done, there may be a bit in the edit where you just like the story just isn't working, or it's just a bit too slow. In fact, there's a couple of scenes with the magician stuff as well, which we've cut out, where he was doing a couple of tricks, and we just felt like, well, we're watching this trick, but it's not even a good trick. It's not like no one's ever seen tricks before, and it doesn't add anything to the story. So that's a really important part to take away from this, actually, of any film. If you're making a film, don't just keep something in because it was the most expensive shot, or okay, yeah, you should have planned it better. But if it's if it's dragging down the story, at the end of the day, no one's going to remember how much something costs. They're going to all you're going to have at the end of it is the film. And if the film's really boring because of that shot, or it's dragging that film down, just remove it.
Actually, even in the scene in the house, that we was quite harsh, weren't we? Actually, going through the cut, we were shortening things down quite a lot, and because again, it's the pace which was important, and it was the way the story was telling itself. So yeah, I think it did have a hard edit.
Yeah,
I think.
Just cutting back to this, these eyes, I did originally as. The eyes under the sofa I did originally as, let me just play it again, as it was just a graphic, like glowing eyes, and it looked rubbish. And then I remembered I'd filmed a pet dog with infrared light for one of the other horrors we did, which was an infrared sort of like film with like an infrared camera. So I used those eyes and tracked them and put them under the sofa and turned them red, and I thought it worked really well. This was a difficult shot, wasn't it? Because we couldn't get the screams right. We added some extra screams just to make it more terrifying. And
very hard to scream.
Yeah, realistically
where when you don't need to.
Yeah.
But actually the fade to black saved us, I think, in that scene as well, because we needed an excuse to sort of try and. I think it was missing a bit of footage, weren't we, of him actually getting up the right way or how we expected it to look.
Yeah.
So just, if in doubt, fade to black.
Yeah. Again, this had a number of other shots to it, and it was just like it wasn't moving the story forward quick enough. And also we had the voiceover to match it, so it was like we just showed what we needed to sort of show, and cut out the rest which wasn't needed. You can see the tape on the one there. You can see so these shots actually took a lot longer than what they looked like, because I had to rotoscope around his arm, his hands and face to make him look a lot sort of paler than what he obviously really is. And obviously then this eye replacement as well took a lot longer. I had to add all the reflections in his eye as well. So these were friends of my mum's from. She works in a hospital, and it was one of her friends and her son. So they came along and helped, which was great. This was actually quite difficult because we just didn't have enough shots, did we, for it? So I had to play around with the speed, and I quite like it, the fact that it's sped up. It kind of looks a little bit sort of like in the old sort of film when they couldn't quite get the front part where they were getting sort of like actually by hand doing the film, and it works quite well to speed up more. So yeah, I felt a bit sorry for John because he was being so gentle with the boy. So we had to sort of speed it up for that as well to make it look a bit more aggressive. That shot where the boy ran past, I had to remove all the fire extinguisher and everything else from that as well, which was a nightmare. So yeah, this is like the silhouette shot, which I'd sort of come up with, I think, on the night. I just decided to do it. So luckily we had the green screen there. So I got John sitting in front of the green screen. So where he walks off there is completely he'd just walked off, and then I just superimposed him and darkened him down there using the green screen and silhouetted it. And then obviously the rabbit didn't really come out of his head. And it's got our voices, isn't it, as the people coming in?
Oh yes, we had
our
that
voices,
because we needed something to what is a rabbit running away.
Yeah.
The other thing is as well is when we was filming this scene, we was down to a light bulb in like a lantern type lampshade.
Yeah, it was a Chinese
shaped lamp bulb thing, and all the other lights bar one, all the bulbs are blown.
Yeah, so I bought these bulbs for these. I'm not going to say the company, but I bought these bulbs for some Arri lights, quite expensive lights, to light the hall up and everything, and they all blew, apart from one. So we had one light left, and we just literally had that and a couple of softbox lights to light the whole scene. So we just had to improvise a lot. I mean, I think that's a lot with indie films. You just improvise the whole time.
Yeah, but it was another challenge which we weren't prepared to deal with. I mean, even saying that, people might say, "Oh, we should have had spares." Yeah, we had spares, but the whole batch of bulbs that all just blew. Just literally when you just put them in. Or we just moved the light slightly, didn't we? We adjusted the light and one just blew. Just adjusting a light. So I think,
I mean, I'm not going to get into technical reasons for lights. That's a bit boring, but
we're a challenge.
It was, yeah. So this scene I thought actually came together quite well in the end, and this coming up, the bit where she's like dribbling from her mouth and stuff. Actually, that's quite funny. We'll go into that in a sec. But that whole thing, we literally had about 20 minutes at the end of the night, wasn't it, to like do handheld stuff and just quickly cobble something together. And I thought it's never going to work, and it
actually I was very impressed because some of these guys came on board literally at the last minute.
Yeah,
and they turned up this one night. We handed them the script. They'd learnt it.
Yeah, they were really
and they did it 3 or 4 times. You know, they had to do this scene.
Brilliant.
And they were so consistent with their performance. You know, it made our job a lot easier when you're choosing cuts because it was just so nicely done.
Yeah.
So hats off to them. Pardon the pun.
Eddie like me now, baby.
You're also a twat.
It's quite nice actually watching it when the actors perform the script you've written, and then it's sort of characters are coming alive off the page. And just like it's really. I don't think for filmmaking. I just think it's such a.
Actually, that's an interesting point, isn't it? Because I'm just going to pause that. The commitment they showed.
So you pause it. Where's that on?
It's all right. You got Marcella there, and we got Lauren, who played Laura.
Yeah.
Is it Laura who plays Lauren?
Laura plays Lauren.
Laura plays Lauren.
Yeah.
Laura, the very next day, was booked to appear on Coronation Street as an extra.
Right. Yeah.
And we didn't finish that night to gone 12 o'clock because she went straight from the Keston Hall to Manchester because she had to be there for like 4:30 or 5:30 in the morning. So
I didn't realise. I mean, I should have realised. I think I had so much on my mind I hadn't really taken in what she'd said. So when she said, "I've really got to go now," I was like, "Oh, okay," and then realised that I was like, "Oh." I'm surprised she even said yes to doing the part.
Yeah, but they were really dedicated, really committed, and they're doing this for nothing. You know, she's just out of the love, I guess, of it.
Yeah,
which is what we all do.
We had loads of trouble, didn't we? Have that hat not drop that because it was too big for her head, so it get dropping us. We had to stick tissue and everything in it, which again I had to remove here. There was a shot you can see the tissue, so I had to remove all that as well, didn't I? In post. And that was sherbet. Sherbet. We had to take a couple of takes on that, trying to just get to pour out of her mouth.
You see the hat just full, and again as well. That's brilliant. I do love that bit. But then again, this is typical Peter. He had to go back and then make her eyes white because they weren't. Yeah, it was just normal pupils.
I just thought because the magician had them.
You just make more work for yourself all the time.
Yeah, no.
But it was worth it. It looked really, really good.
And in this last shot, this was literally the last shot we ever filmed, and you could see the people in the background, like the rest of the actors sitting on the stage because we were just like chilling by then. Well, they were because they'd done their job. So we were just. I thought, oh, that would do because everyone had to go home, and it was just like that shot will do. I'll just remove them in post. But of course, then when I realised I had 90 other VFX shots to do, it was just like, oh, it's another shot I've got to do.
And that's why with the visual effects stuff, because it's purely Peter working on that, that's why he uses the company name Low Note Productions, but it's still actually just Peter.
Yeah, it's just me. I should just put my name on everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think it came out all right in the end. In the end, it was like it wasn't. But I think no film is. No films. If it does come out exactly how it is in your head, then you're probably doing something wrong. I think it's good because you're involving a team of people and everyone brings something to the table.
And I suppose it's a bit more organic, isn't it? Rather than
Totally,
sort of just.
totally. Yeah, I think that's what's exciting about it. Is you're never.
What was I
exactly
included
sure.
on there? Thor? What have I? Oh, I'm the audience member. Oh, right, yeah.
And then yeah, that's it.
And yeah, thank you Millennium Effects, because those props were brilliant.
Yeah, they really added to
Brilliant.
it, didn't they?
Brilliant.
Oh, and Jack Frost's pet products. Couldn't have done it without the rabbit.
Yeah, oh yes, true, yes.
And Maggie actually for doing all of the she supplied all the hats and costume stuff, didn't she?